Hello, welcome back to BLENDERSUSHI live noding. In this episode, we're gonna try to create Torus object from scratch using Sverchok. Yeah, let's just jump to it. If we create a Torus using Blender's own tool, Shift A and then find a Torus, you will see that in the option here, we have control over the major segment, the minor segment, the smaller circle that goes around a bigger circle, and the major radius and the minor radius. That's the common attributes for torus creations. There is also the exterior, the interior. This is not quite common. I think this is just a slight adjustment in the way the axis kind of growing. Sometimes that's probably what you need. We're gonna kind of emulate that. So we know that we're gonna need a bigger circle and a smaller circle. So this is SV Torus from scratch 001. We know that in Sverchok we don't have a Torus generator yet. That's probably it's not like the real main focus in Sverchok. You can already make Torus in many different ways. Like you're gonna make one today. You could actually just use circle and I'll show you real quick. I think Blender must be a bit misbehaving this morning because I didn't restart my computer. And I'll restart Blender real quick. And wait a few seconds. Okay, we are back. So if we have a circle and then we have the skin mesher, we could practically end up with something that's looking like a torus. Turn on live modifier. Okay, because this is like we have a radius of a circle and we have the skin modifier kind of working inside Sverchok. We can control the radius and we can control also the subsurf, how much subdivision we want. Although we don't have like a proper control of the torus, this is kind of like, it's more or less like a torus, and you can plug in like a random number generator for the radius. This is you know, a fun way you can play around with something that's looking like a torus, even though it's not quite. Let's do a proper one instead of the shortcut. We're gonna need a circle, and supposedly this is like the bigger circle, and we know that we're gonna draw that anyway. So that's the default, just points in circle connected by edges. But I think we can use this for our torus, right? How do we do that? We're gonna need a smaller circle, so just maybe duplicate this guy, and then this smaller circle should go around it, being instance around this bigger circle. So the bigger circle will be for the metric position for the smaller circle. So let's do that using matrix in. This is that's for the positional matrix. You see all this transform with empty mesh data. We just plug in a smaller circle, and real quick you will get this kind of pattern. And we can control the smaller circle, and let's make it less circle so we can see what's going on. So basically this is like we can say like for every point of the bigger circle we have the instance of the smaller circle. Okay, that's That's the main idea. Let's make this 12 and this one maybe 8. Okay, the next thing we need to do, we need to actually rotate this circle, the smaller circle, so that it's like more like to create a form of the torus. So we can use rotation. On the vertices of smaller circle, we can use this rotation node and then maybe rotate it in, not that one, maybe in the y-axis or in the x-axis. We don't know it yet. We're just gonna give it a test. Probably better in the x-axis. But you see that we are not getting a proper torus because the circle is not rotated properly. So we need to rotate it as well. For the rotation, I'm guessing we need an axis. So let's say we don't know what axis yet. 111, I don't know, maybe 0, 0, 1. Plug into the rotations and the angle. Let's see. Angle should be float. And okay, it seems that we are getting somewhere, but the rotation needs to be adjusted so every smaller circle kind of facing the right way to form the torus. For that, we can use float range float. The range can be this one. We can use the count, start, stop, 0 to 360 maybe. Plug that in, and the count should match our circle vertices. So integer, let's make it 10 for now. Let's make it easy. 10 and 10. What do we get? View top. So we're starting to get something, but there's a weirdness here. 360 view orthographic. So apparently not supposed to be 360, but like a 330 or something. There should be like, there must be a math here. If we are using the stepping, for 10 circle we need stepping of 36, so 360, 36. So okay, I can see a pattern here, so we can actually make this 36 and we get the proper circular kind of structure. So which means the stepping can be actually, if we use math and use this subdivision, so this can be 360. 360 divided by 10 is 36, so plug that into the step. So I believe this is more correct now. I can increase or decrease the number of points and we are getting the correct circle arrangement. Remember, we are making a torus, right? Okay, now we are starting to get something here. Let's make this 10. Okay, but now the torus is not made of, it's made of this ring, but we need to kind of loft through all of these. We don't have like a loft node in Sverchok yet, so we need to, I think we need to use a UV connection. UV connection, but then we need to put all this together. and we need to use apply matrix. Actually not actually, yeah, matrix apply. So we don't need to worry about the edges, but we need to combine the vector and the matrices into a single entity. We should generally get something now. We get the points of the torus, and for the face of the torus we actually can take advantage of this UV connection. Sometimes this is, I think, one of the power node in Sverchok. It's great for creating cylinder and all kind of procedural parametric surface. In this case, torus should be, we should be able to create torus this way. So not the slice, but let's turn off slice, but we need this guy, but we need to kind of loop it in both the U and the V. So turn on cycle U and cycle V, and okay, voila, that we have our torus. We can use the edges, we can get polygon edges in this direction and that directions, but we need just the polygon. I think it's pretty good. Let's bake it and test it. Okay, that's a real torus there, and we just need to test it. So smaller circle, more vertices, and less, and then we have this radius of this bigger one. So, and we have this segment for the larger circle. And based on the Blender's own torus creation, we can start naming this guy. This is like the major segment. And let's give it a color. And this is the radius of the larger circle, so it's a major radius. We can use float. Name it major radius. Major radius. Get the color, paste it in, and we have the minor, and let's duplicate that, duplicate that. This is gonna be the minor radius, and this is the major minor segment. Minor segment in. This is smaller radius. Okay, and then just let's name this properly. This is SV Torus, and I'm gonna quickly export this out. Export as SV Torus creation Torus basic, and save it. Okay, so yeah, this is I guess one way you can generate a torus using Sverchok, and this 4 values it's becoming the parameter for the torus. Oh, just now it's complaining about something. And seems to be something error. SV no data error. Maybe one of these is incorrect. Small glitch. Maybe the value was going too small just now. smaller than 0. Maybe we need to limit this guy, you know, smaller, 0.1. The smallest value we can use, 0.1, and then the segment cannot be too high, maybe 150 maximum. This is for the large circle. Radius also cannot be smaller than 0.01 maybe. And more or less segment on the major radius. So, okay, apparently if the major segment is too small, it's complaining, and okay, that's really bad. Should be, the smaller should be 3. Now it's a kind of broken, Sverchok, unhappy, and then we just reset it. Now it cannot go, once we set the limit here, the minimum and the maximum, it shouldn't go too small and then causing a problem. Minor segment, smallest 3. Okay, we definitely need to create a minimum and maximum limit for the attributes for this parameter. So now that everything is correct, we can test it. It's all working properly, and we have our torus, and we can bake it anytime. Bake. Another way is if you want to generate a real torus right away, you can use image viewer and just pipe that in as the data, and now everything is always live and just like a real object in Blender. And we can also use modifier on top of this. Skin, but skin is a bit slow. Skin modifier in Blender is actually pretty fast for what it's doing. It's looking at all the edges and trying to create this interconnected pipe. Yeah, this is pretty amazingly fast. Better use wireframe if you want to do that kind of thing. Similar kind of result. You can also do subdivision, solidify, skin screw remesh, perhaps remesh, actually making quite an interesting result sometimes with the block especially. But of course this is still live and we can make changes. And everything still works procedurally, and yeah, I guess that's kind of nice. I guess I'm gonna take like a screenshot of this, and then this is for the video thumbnail. So yeah, this is it. This is the creation of torus from scratch in Sverchok. Mind you that this is just only one way to do it. There could be a better one. You can also use script node, and if Sverchok developer have time to make the torus nodes, they will. But you can probably, if you know more about programming and kind of confident to create a torus node, feel free to do that as well. Yeah, so hopefully this is interesting and useful. I think the process is sometimes more beneficial than just a shortcut. Of course, when you want to reuse this setup, you just need to reload it. I forgot to show that. Gonna take a screenshot first. So supposedly you wanna just have a torus. You just need to reload the JSON that we saved earlier. I will save it into the GIST Sverchok Torus basic, and just load the node tree, and then we should have the setup here. And if you want to edit it in 3D view, you can go under Sverchok, scan for properties, and we have this major radius, major segment, minor radius, minor segment. Okay, so that's all the control. Just like if you make your own torus using Blender's own tool creations, although this is more like a once-off thing. So this is once-off creation. Major segment, minor segment, major radius, minor radius. But once you're done with that, you cannot make any changes. With this guy, you can still do that. Make any changes anytime, even after you apply the modifier. I'm pretty sure that even this these Torus operators, ppy.ops mesh primitive Torus add, this can be modified also using Sverchok. There is also this special thing like align to view. This is very useful. You might want to, you can do that in Sverchok if you want, but not very necessary. Yeah, maybe just missing is the bake tools, but that's pretty much it for this live noding. If you have any comment, suggestion, let me know down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks again for tuning in. Bye.